Tell everybody who you are, Mamadou, because I know you, and I know you are out here in Atlanta killing it in real estate.
So I started my real estate journey actually in Maryland. That's where I started.
Okay, DMV.
Yeah, DMV, indeed.
Okay.
DMV. That's where I got my first deal. That's my love. Baltimore, exactly, to be exact. When I left,
Say with the accent.
I don't know the Baltimore accent. That's funny. I have no idea.
Everybody knows the Baltimore.
No, I know it.
I am excited. I'm so excited to be in hot Atlanta. Are you hot?
Very.
You are hot.
Very. Summertime too, so.
I wonder why they call it hot Atlanta.
Apparently, it's because of how hot the clubs are.
Really?
I guess.
I think so.
And then it's an entertainment.
It is.
Yeah, right.
It's
all
a place like
all
no
the big
other.
entertainers from out here. So.
Not just entertainers though. Business.
Yes.
It is
a lot of
home of entrepreneurship and business, which brings me to you. How are you doing?
I'm fantastic. I'm doing great. Can't complain.
And tell everybody who you are, Mamadou, because I know you, and I know you are out here in Atlanta killing it in real estate and leadership, mentorship, father, just all of these different areas that I'm excited to get into. But I'll give you an opportunity to introduce yourself.
Well, my name is Mamadou Diallo. Yeah, not kind of hard to pronounce, but it means the praiseworthy. So I love it. It's a beautiful name. Last name Diallo. It means bold. I am bold, indeed. I'm originally from West Africa, a country called Guinea. I left when I was 7 years old. Grew up in a refugee camp in Belgium since the age of 9 till the age of 16. Then left there, went to school, did a whole 9 years. I stayed like 13, 14 years in Europe. And came back to the U.S. My family's been here forever, at least my older brothers, right? So I started my real estate journey actually in Maryland. That's where I started.
Okay, DMV.
Yeah, DMV, indeed.
Okay.
DMV. That's where I got my first deal. That's my love. Baltimore, exactly, to be exact. When I left,
Say with the accent.
I don't know the Baltimore accent. That's funny. I have no idea.
Everybody knows the Baltimore.
No,
accent.
I know it, but for me to try to do it, I've tried a couple of times. My nieces told me, "Unc, give up."
Okay.
Right? They're like, my nieces are born, and raised in Baltimore, so they're like, no, don't even try.
Wait, how does Just Hilarious do it? You know Just Hilarious, right?
Hell no, who's that?
What?
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
She's a huge. Does our audience know who Just Hilarious is? Do we know?
I hope so.
Okay.
Is it a comedian? Is it a singer? What is
Comedian.
it? Comedian.
And she is now on The Breakfast Club.
Oh.
And she made.
She's from Baltimore.
She's from Baltimore.
I see now who you're talking about because you said The Breakfast Club because she came after Angela Yee, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. And she does that. I can't even do it.
Oh, I didn't know.
But
she's from
that's
Baltimore.
where that accent comes from. So whenever I hear that in my head. But
I used to hear it a lot.
Make you try it.
No, I used to hear it a lot because at first I was doing Uber and Lyft before I got my first real estate deal going, and so trust me, in my car, it was like, oh my gosh,
it's very distinct.
It's very.
Okay,
yeah.
so you got your first deal, your real estate deal in the DMV.
Yeah, in Baltimore City to be exact. Yeah, I was driving. So here's what I decided to do. When I decided to leave my corporate job, it was specifically for real estate. I've tried to do it in Europe. The issue with Europe is that it's not as simple and easy as here because number one, the data is not public as in the US. In the US, I could literally drive in front of your house, pull up an application, pinpoint on your house and have your whole information. And with another click, I get your number. And I can call you and just ask you if you're interested in selling. And it's not illegal to do so. In Europe, there is no way you cannot go in front of somebody's house, get their data, or go to the county and ask them. What? Yeah, you can't do that. Every data is private. In the US, there is no such thing, which is in one way is good. This is the reason why most multimillionaires, billionaires comes out of the US, because in order to build a business, you need data.
Everything's built on data.
Exactly. If you don't have access to data, obviously, you cannot build the business. So when I tried it in Europe, all I could get was either one, be a property manager, two, be a real estate agent, which I was not interested in. I wanted to own my own real estate, right? So here in the US, I discovered there's something called real estate wholesaling, which is the idea is you find a distressed homeowner. When I say distressed, doesn't necessarily have to be financial, but they either one have a house that is beat up and they don't have the money to fix it up, or maybe they're tired landlord, or they own the house free and clear. They want to sell it, but they don't need all the money up front. right? So you can negotiate directly with the homeowner on 123 Main Street, put that house under contract, and just sell the contract.
So before I get into that, because that's how I know you,
Okay.
as the creative finance guy, right? That's how I met you. And I want to pause you there because I know you're going to drop gems because that's what you do all day, every day. But once you started in Baltimore, how did you get to Atlanta?
I got here, I think 8 months ago.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'll be honest with you is that, so I started my journey in Baltimore, got my first 3 deals, build momentum from there. And then I started obviously doing bunch of deals, the fix and flips, the buy and holds, whatever. Then I started also like helping newbies get their first deal, right? So I would like go on Facebook and say, hey, if you're too scared to call sellers, just reach out to me once you have a lead and I'll jump on the 3-way with you and talk to the seller for you. So I started putting my name out there, and then I started getting bored because I've done it all at this point. I've done deals in Maryland, DC, Virginia. Everybody know me there as, kind of the creative finance leader, closer, whatever. I just needed a new challenge. I like to move around a lot. I've moved around my whole life. And so I think I don't like being married to one place, if that kind of makes sense. And then I also always need a new challenge.
I do want to think about when you said you were moving around, wanting to do all of these different things. And then how did you end up in Atlanta? Like, what made you choose Atlanta?
I was going to get into that. So all I really wanted is a new challenge. So entrepreneurs in general, to be honest, like, okay, you want to build one business. Once you build that business, is either you sit around and it's downhill from there, because there's no such thing as just like a static space, right? It's either you're moving up or you're moving down. There's no such thing as just staying. So it's one, you climb one mountain. So for example, I wanted to do real estate. How do I do real estate? I want to be a real estate agent or an investor. Okay, I'm going to be an investor. Okay, first step is get your first deal. Get your first deal. Third deal, now you're teaching. Now you're like doing all the flips. And like you can only do so much in real estate. Rental, flip, wholesale. And then after that is maybe like coaching. But like in the real estate itself, you can only do so much. So I wanted a new challenge. And then one day I came to, first I went to North Carolina, actually. I spent a few months in North Carolina, did a bunch of deals there. Random little town, bunch of military. It's a military town, actually. It's full of military people, but great cash flow area. And then Atlanta, I came to an event. I forgot what the event was, but I think it was from my brother Pace. He used to be my mentor. He's also one of my good friends. I'm actually in his book that he wrote for Bigger Pockets. It's called Wealth Without Cash. And I came to this event. He was doing the book signing, if I'm not mistaken. It was my first time here in Atlanta. And I don't know. I just the people that I met here, the network was crazy. I've never seen, I was very surprised to come here and see all this like successful people. Not only that, but also like the different type of crowd. And then they took me out on a tour that week. Some of the places I went reminded me of Europe a little bit in terms of like the vibe. I was like, I was like, I gotta be here. So I decided, you know what, I'm gonna come here and just start a workshop and then take it from there. And it just so happened that when I came here the first time, I had a property, because I used to do real estate virtually. So I would wholesale virtually. Atlanta was one of my markets, even though I've never been here. But, you don't have to be here to wholesale. So I had a house under contract when I came. And the homeowner called me in the car. I said, I'm going to an event in Atlanta. And he said, oh, well, if you don't want to take a hotel, my house is actually furnished. Since we're already under contract, you can go stay there so you don't have to take a hotel. Another sign. I was like, okay.
And he was like, oh, yeah. I'm in. Yeah. Give me the address.
Right. And it was this house.
What?
It was this house, yes. It was very close by the airport.
Okay.
Yes. I came here fully furnished, 8 bedrooms. I was like, okay. So I went to the event and really loved it. I'm like, this cannot be a coincidence. And I was already looking for a new place, new challenge, whatever. So I said, F it. Atlanta it is. And I decided to close on the house and just skip it and then move to Atlanta. So I started the workshop. That's where met a lot of my students, my new business partners and brothers, Steve, Andrew. That's where we met from my workshop. So I started teaching newbies from there, and then he translated into everything else after that. So
I feel like the story that you just shared about how you landed in Atlanta is the personification and manifestation of the Atlanta meme. that everyone talks about.
Okay.
You guys know what the Atlanta meme is? I love the Atlanta meme.
Okay.
It's a meme that says, moving to Atlanta will not change your life. It's funny because moving to Atlanta will change your life. Everything about everyone who typically comes to Atlanta, they have the same response as you did.
Got it.
Which was, I've never seen so much energy.
Yeah.
I've never seen so much ABC.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where people come to Atlanta, and you hear me talk about Atlanta all the time. I'm obsessed with Atlanta. When I say obsessed, people literally, whenever I'm in New York or Texas or Austin or wherever, they're asking me, so how's Atlanta? And I go, I don't live there. I don't.
I think I did ask you too, right?
That's how I remember how we connected.
And I asked you, like, I'm not from Atlanta.
And you said, oh yeah, I live in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And I was like, fangirl.
I love the people in Atlanta. You told
I
us.
love Atlanta.
Yeah.
I love the people in Atlanta. And you're like, calm down, chill. But Atlanta's just been a mind-blowing place for me. I'd never seen so much diversity and ingenuity. I think that so many people are entrepreneurial and creative, and just like we were talking before we started rolling, they have so many interests in businesses that are thriving and successful. And I always tell people, you can go to Atlanta and in the first 24 hours, you'll get business credit, a house, and a little McMansion.
Right.
And then you have like this whole thing, and they're just doing it in Atlanta. And that's your experience too. And I mean, that's exactly what happened to you. That changed your life. So I think that's amazing. So now you start this workshop, you get down here, doors are opening for you, and then what's next after that?
Well, now trying to scale from there. So I'm trying to pivot actually from single family to multifamily. Kind of tired of a little bit of the single family. So that's another thing, right? I'm always looking for that new mountain to climb. So single family, we've done it all at this point. So we want to go into this multifamily for one reason, because when you think about multifamily in contrast to single family, when you buy a multifamily, it's like buying a business. You have everything. I'm talking about the big units, right? Like 100 and up. You buy it, you have a leasing office in place. Plus, you have, like, let's say if you have 100 units, if you have, unlike a single family, if your tenant, you only have one door, one tenant. If that tenant defaults, income stops, is only expenses, depending how which county, how long it takes to actually evict, which we're in the process of. We have a property in Snellville. We're evicting the tenant right now. It's been a nightmare. But depending how long it takes you, like, for example, my property is in Baltimore. Some of them I had to sell them because of how long it takes to evict people. It's a blue state, right? So, like, Maryland is a blue state and is very tenant friendly. So if your tenant, and the tenant, they know the laws better than the landlords, like, I mean, literally.
You would too if you wanted a free house.
Exactly. And so it gets, so the income stops. But the multifamily, like 100 units, 10 leaves, you still have 90 paying you. Now, obviously the challenge is now that's a new space. So we we met a bunch of very well-versed investors in multifamily that is actually coaching us through it right now, through our first deal. So we're working on that. So that now he's understanding the underwriting.
In Houston.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Shout out to Armando.
Yeah, definitely.
Shout out to Armando for making that
because
happen.
I can tell you in the multifamily space too, there is not a lot of legit people. There's a lot of people that talk, but not a lot of people that do it. Or some people, they do it, but all their deals are shitty. Like, okay, I own a 300 unit, but they're over leveraged, negative cash flow. Is like, bro, I don't want to talk to you. Like, I want to talk to somebody who's actually doing it at a successful level, to which, we met a few folks there. So that's a new space, new challenge, learning, always looking to learn something new. So we're diving into the underwriting there, funding, what is the difference there, like raising private capital. It seems like multifamily is more about raising money than the deals. You have to focus probably 95% of your time raising private capital, and which is super, super exciting. So, and trying to grow the network here in Atlanta, to be honest with you.
And when you say the multifamily, one of the things that I know you from is teaching other people.
Yes.
Are you, because Armando's event, you met people, they're teaching you,
yeah.
and you could constantly are pouring into other people.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here in the compound of what I am now deeming real estate camp. If you ever want to learn how to get your first deal and you are like, you know what, I just got to get to Atlanta because that meme is so true. My life is not going right in San Francisco. I have got to
Why San Francisco?
It's not going right in San Francisco. Let me get to Hot Atlanta. Let me get down here. This is who you want to talk to. And the reason you want to talk to him is the creative financing part.
Oh,
let's
get into that.
Yeah. So what is creative financing? Let's start there. What is that?
So creative finance is essentially, it's probably older than the US, I think, but it's essentially when you buy a home. One, you either buy it. So let's say I'm talking to you on your house, right? You're looking to sell it and you own it completely free and clear. And you're like, you know what? I want to sell my house at $500,000. I'm not taking a penny less, but I also don't need the money. So because you understand taxes, for example, if you were to sell it, you have capital gains tax and all that fun stuff. You also know that if you list it, because typically most people that have their houses paid off, they're also a little bit on their financially savvier side. So you also don't want to list it because you don't want to pay commissions, all that crap. You're just married to that 500 number. Mm-hmm. Okay. If a real estate agent were to list it, obviously you would walk away with less, right? Because of the commissions. If you were to sell it, you have to give most of it to Uncle Sam, right? So I come in and I say, listen, Liberty, I'll give you $500,000 on paper, and I just upgrade you to the bank at that point. So you finance me, I give you a down payment, and then you finance me the remaining equity for however amount of years we agree. That would be called a seller finance. So you will be financing me your equity. I'm giving you the full $500,000 that nobody else can give you, because even an investor, if they were to buy cash, they won't pay you than probably 80% of the home's value for good reasons, right? So creative finance allow me to give you that full number, not upfront, just on paper. And then you finance me. So I give you a down payment, substantial down payment. You finance me the remaining equity. So now Liberty is my bank. And then I just make you monthly payments every single month for, let's say we agree to 7, 10, 15, doesn't really matter. And if you're like, hey, I also want a return, like you would get on stocks. I want returns on my equity. Well, you can charge me interest on that equity also. And now I'm paying you. So Liberty is my bank. That's called seller finance. Mm-hmm. That's part of the creative finance. Mm-hmm. The other one is like a lot of it is happening right now.
Okay.
So right now what's happening with the market is a lot of people that got excited when the market was high, the economy was doing great, the government was printing the stimulus checks. A lot of people went out and bought homes they couldn't afford. Okay. Now, loss of jobs, inflation, as you know, everything happening. So now there's a lot of people that have owned properties for 2-3 years and they want to sell it. The problem with that is they don't have equity.
Okay.
Because their mortgage is new, obviously. And then if they were to list it, now they have to write a check to sell their home. So the other second aspect of creative finance is I can come to somebody like that and say, hey, let me just take over the underlying mortgage. And the way we do that is I'm not going to qualify for it. So let's say hypothetically on that 500,000 example, you owe, let's say 400. Okay. $400,000. I'm going to come in and say, hey, I'll give you the full 500 you're asking for, but the $400,000, I want you to leave that debt in place on your name, and I'm just going to take over the responsibility of the monthly payments.
Okay.
So I will be making the payments. We'll transfer deed and title. So I own the house. Only the debt stays on your name, and I am fully responsible for making the payments every single month, and then I buy it that way. That would be called a subject to transaction. So that's the second aspect of creative finance. So that's, in a nutshell, that's what it is. Creative finance is you either buy it, seller finance, or subject to.
Or subject to. And what would be the benefit for the home buyer? In this example, Liberty is
buyer or the seller.
The seller.
Mm-hmm.
What would be the benefit for Liberty in this example?
With the subject to? Mm-hmm. Well, the benefit is So the other one, as I explained, is one. Most people that sell on seller finance, they're trying to avoid the capital gains tax, which you do. So you completely defer your taxes that way. Secondly, you're getting full asking that nobody else will give you. You're getting a way higher number, which is technically over asking, because if you were to list it, you have to pay the real estate agents, right? Mm-hmm. And then you're becoming the bank, so you can also charge on your equity, so you get a return on your money. So your money is working for you. Even if you were to get the money, you would, unless you put it in an investment, obviously you're losing money with inflation anyway. So if the money is sitting there, not only I'm making monthly payments, but I'm paying you interest, well, your money is working for you anyway at that point.
So question for you, why is that? Because I feel like this is not done at the degree that possibly it could be done, because a lot of people don't go I've seen a lot of people personally where they say, oh no, I'm not going to seller finance. I'm not doing that. I'm not interested. Why would someone refuse to get into that kind of agreement? Because it sounds like a benefit.
The seller? Actually, it's funny, right? Because I think it's almost like when I didn't know about wholesaling, I thought there's not a lot of people doing it. But once you get into it, you find out there is actually a bunch of homeowners that does it. The one that don't do it is either one, they absolutely, when I say absolutely, meaning they don't have any motivation at all. Meaning, okay, I want to sell my house, but I just want to gamble. My house is worth 500 and I want to sell it for 600. Or reasonable sellers. We don't deal with that. But as long as they're like, hey, I don't want to deal with this real estate anymore, but I want the price that I want. I want 500. That's what my property is worth. And then I don't need the money, but the motivation is there, meaning to let the real estate go. There's so many homeowners that do that.
So someone who needs the money would not be the ideal.
On seller finance, no.
That's okay. That's what I was looking for. Someone who's like, no, I need the money.
Somebody who needs the money, we call them distressed homeowners.
Okay.
Those people always sell at a steep cash discount. That's where fix and flippers, for example, that's where they buy their homes. And we do too, like wholesaling. I have to find a distressed homeowner who want to sell at steep discount cash, and then I put it under contract and I sell my contract. So those are one side. The other ones is the subject to ones are distress. Because subject to also, I'm taking over a mortgage, but is staying on your name. I'm just making the payments, right? I don't have to go qualify for it. The benefit for the seller is the same thing. It's like, okay, I don't have equity at all. If you don't have equity, if you list your home, you have to write a check to sell your home. Here, I'm writing you a check. So let's say your house is worth 500 and you owe very close to that. Instead of you writing a check to sell it, I'm going to write you a check of 5,000 or 10,000, doesn't matter. I pay the closing costs. I take over the mortgage. It stays on your name. I just make the payments, and you have a security blanket that if I ever default, you can get the house back. So I'm invested, all that fun stuff. Yeah, exactly, right? And then they just move on. They no longer have that mortgage. Most people don't want to be landlords. True. Yeah. Most people, you might be sitting there thinking, well, why don't they just take it and rent it and do Airbnb? Because people have a life, right? They have a job, nurses, lawyers, whatever the case may be. It's like, and some people is just being a landlord is literally almost like a nightmare to them. It's like, oh, no. There's no way I'm getting calls for toilet leaks at midnight.
I've literally heard people say that.
Exactly.
I just don't want to be a landlord.
Right.
I don't want anybody calling me.
Boom.
I don't want anybody doing that. Okay.
Boom. In real estate, guys, is never put your head in the seller's head. Because you are not the seller. So you might be sitting there thinking, okay, if I want to do this sounds like, why would a seller do this? Well, because exactly that. They're not an investor. They're a homeowner that have all the other stuff going on, family, whatever. And then we help a lot of homeowners out of foreclosure. So one of our niche specialty is pre-foreclosures. So if sellers, they're about to lose their home, we can stop the auction up to the day of, depending on what's going on. Yeah. And so we help homeowners also avoid that, save their credit, whatever. But some of those people, actually, I would argue 99.9% of them have more than one lien on the house.
Oh, wow.
So they owe Wells Fargo, and then after that, they owe water liens and credit cards and all kind of debt, right? And so those kind of people often also, they don't have equity. Because they've, a lot of people refinance their homes, for example, and they don't use the equity for anything other than buying cars and bunch of as you know, most people don't invest their equity when they refinance.
So the takeaway from that is if you are going to refinance, do something with the money. Yes, go buy a car.
Please.
Do not get the purse. You don't need it.
Don't buy liabilities.
How you gonna have a car and a purse and no house? What?
And you know what's funny? We've noticed that every pre-foreclosure homeowner we go to a face-to-face appointment to, we always see the most recent car on the driveway.
No way.
Yeah.
You're kidding me.
They either have a BMW or Mercedes. You just
like, you know what, Mamadou, I just really want to live in my car.
You meet them with the nail polish and you know what I mean? So, but we've also seen older people that just, health issues, whatever. I mean, we love helping those homeowners because I think to me in real estate, pre-foreclosures are probably the most fulfilling deals you can do. Because these homeowners have the ones that are going through real financial struggles, death in the family,
real things.
Yeah, real things, man. It's like,
you're this angel.
You're a problem solver, 100%.
Yes.
It's never about the house. Never about the house. Even whether you buy it seller finance, whether you buy it using creative finance or cash, you are never, at least what we do off market, right? As investors, because we put out marketing, we talk to the homeowners directly. you are never getting the property under contract because the seller just want to see the house go. You're always solving a problem that is completely not related to the house.
Okay.
It's either you solving a financial issue, or you solving a family issue. It's like some of them, like the divorce, for example, we have to be mediators. We have one file where we have to be mediators between 12 family members, so it's like you solve a personal issue, and then the result is you getting a contract and a property, but it's fulfilling in the sense of you are genuinely solving problems. And then in the back end, obviously providing affordable housing, all those things.
You seem so passionate about real estate in general.
I'm passionate about problem solving, I would say. I could care less about the houses, to be honest with you. But the problem solving side of things, I love that. Like talking to a homeowner, like right now, I have homeowners that we bought their properties 2 years ago. They will still text me randomly, hey, Mamadou, how you doing? And that's because of the genuine issue we solved for them that had nothing to do with the property. Because like, think about the average homeowner. If I call you Liberty on your house, I guarantee you there's 200 other people calling you. So out of the 200, you're only going to work with the person that solves your problem, that you like the most too, and you trust the most. So it's never about the house. So all those people, like the relationship afterward, with some of our private lenders is our sellers that sold us houses. Right? So it's a genuine, you have to love solving problems. Otherwise you get drained and you give up if you're just chasing contracts and money. Because you end up being like, oh man, why do I have to follow up with this lady 12 times? I've already talked to her 7 times. She don't want to sign, blah, blah, blah. But no, you follow up 12 times because it's your responsibility to follow up with her until she's ready to make a decision to save her house from foreclosure.
Get that. No, that's a real thing.
Yeah, it is.
That's why people don't. And when I was saying that you seem passionate about real estate, I definitely did not mean houses.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Definitely did not mean houses. You seem passionate about the entire cycle that takes place. Because anybody can solve a problem or be a solutionist.
Right.
I'm a solutionist, but in a technical way, I'm not selling a house. I'm extremely passionate about solutions, but technical solutions. You're very passionate about solving and being a solutionist in this particular space.
Yes. Yeah.
If you could go into any other industry, what would it be?
I would say in the consulting space.
You already in a consulting space.
Right? You know what? I will tell you guys an industry that I will be in that is not, people will be like, what the heck? That's not an industry. But like, I genuinely love debates. I love debating. I love debating topics. I love debating faith, culture. I see myself literally being on stage debating like on a high level.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Like I cannot do it on the side. It's like my little,
Okay, what are you doing on the side?
Yeah.
Like what?
Like, for example, I would debate people on, different faith, different God ideologies, or debate people on atheism and like those kind of things, like things about society.
You do it on the side. Do you have a workshop?
Not a workshop. Like I literally.
It's like debate me now. And you have a little sign.
No,
it's like
no.
You're at the park.
So I would
debate me.
I would go into that community per se. Like there is a whole community that do that, right? Even on YouTube, whatever. So I'll literally like have debates with people. When I was in Belgium, I would invite people in my house that knows their stuff. Like I could invite, for example, a pastor at my house. Let's debate the Bible, for example.
That's your pastime?
Yeah.
Did you hear that?
I know. But that's what I'm saying. It's out of the. I don't want to sound crazy, but yeah.
No, it's so funny because when you first said, "Oh, I would be in a different industry," and you're thinking about what you like, debate. The first thing I thought that you were gonna say was big law.
No.
I was like, "Oh, okay. He wants to get into big law."
No.
And
Like
lawyers,
actually,
counsel,
no. Actually,
opposing parties.
No. And by the way, I love attorneys because we use them in real estate all day long. I have attorneys that help us. I have attorneys on retainers for all kind of stuff. But I'm saying in terms of as if an industry, no, hell no. But really, I don't know how to explain it. I genuinely like I would sit down if I'm bored and I would watch a whole debate on one topic. It could be, by the way, sometimes it could be presidential. It could be politics. I just love watching people defend their ideas.
Same. That's why I thought you were going in the law direction.
Yeah, no, no. Like I could watch law. I don't know. I couldn't watch that. But I could watch, for example, a debate on racism, for example. Yeah.
Okay, so your pastime. Whew, how do you relax? Because your pastime are hot button topics. I love to 1, debate, 2, pastors, 3, racism.
Yeah.
Coming up next.
Yeah.
That seems intense. Let me hear how you relax.
I don't know what do people call relax? Define relax to me, because everybody have a different definition of relax.
Let me hear a day in the life of Mamadou. That way I can kind of pinpoint maybe some relaxing activities that you do.
A day in the life of a Mamadou. Prayer in the morning. Workout.
Relaxing.
Always. And then getting into problem solving. What problems can we solve today? Who can we help today? Or I'm teaching.
Okay, that sounds like a morning routine.
No, like because the real estate is like there's a lot of marketing, right? We're on the phone constantly,
right?
Calling, following up. Or I'm teaching. I'm actually literally teaching. I'm teaching my team, or I'm teaching students, whatever.
Meditation,
I'm
prayer,
teaching.
And gym, and then teaching.
Yeah.
Where do you source the joy from? Where's that life joy? Where does that come from?
Like what do you mean?
Where do you source your joy?
Yeah, like what makes me happy?
Happy.
Okay.
That happy's fleeting.
Okay, it definitely 100%. I agree with that.
Happy is definitely fleeting. But when you think about, this is one of my favorite questions to ask people: is where do you source your joy?
I source my joy in waking up and knowing that I have a purpose. Like I source my joy in purpose. I just like I need. I don't know what. Like that's, if I have to like sum it, I would say purpose. It's like when I wake up, I want my day to feel like it was purposeful today. I've done something productive. I've either helped somebody, I've learned something, then taught it to somebody else. I've tried something new. Whatever. Like it's rare for me to sit there and maybe when I'm watching a movie. That's the only time I could probably sit and go, okay, you know what? I'm what people call relaxing.
A movie?
Maybe. Yeah.
That's the only time you're
like I'm just saying. Okay, now I'm not saying that I don't go out and maybe like, but even if let's say I go to a lounge, just an example. If I go to a lounge, I am absolutely not going with people that I'm not gonna have conversation about
debating
business,
politics.
Why not? But business, we talk business, we talk relationships, we debate sometimes. I'll be on the phone posting my content. You know what I mean? Like there's no such thing as just me sitting enjoying my. I don't know. I don't know. Like, because I feel like sometimes when people say relax, they mean like you sitting down at the.
No,
I could do it for.
So I feel like that's
why I was asking to define, right, because everybody define it differently, right?
One, people can, the connotation can appear as though when you're asking how do you relax, marketing could possibly tell you to sit in a bathtub and read a book, like, like relax. But the reality is, if someone asks me like, how do you relax? How do you rejuvenate? I love creating content. So I'll create, that brings me joy.
Gotcha.
It brings me so much joy. And I can go, when I'm creating content or I'm producing something, it's not work to me.
Yes.
Because I truly enjoy it. Like,
then that's exactly how I relax then. So right? my whole day is relaxation then. Because I love solving the problems. I love talking to people and negotiate great deals, but where I'm literally solving problems and I have to get creative and crazy. I love when people call me, ask me questions, and I'm teaching. Soon as I learn something, I'm super pumped to go teach it to somebody. That's how I retain information. Soon as I learn, I have to go teach, right? That meditation in them, like prayer to me is it's relaxing because I tap into that inner self. I love reading. That's relaxing to me because I don't read for entertainment.
For the debates,
exactly.
Right?
Content all day long. They can tell you like content. I don't play with that. But you're right. It doesn't feel like a job to me at all. So if that's the case, with that definition that you just gave, which I actually love, then my whole day is relaxing.
That was my answer.
Okay.
But a lot of people answer it different.
No, but yeah. So typically, I like the other day I was doing an interview. He's relaxing. The way he defines it completely different. That's why I like to ask the person. His relaxing means you're not doing nothing. Right?
Well, some people, when I ask the how do you source your joy question, I've had people say, oh, I source it from my partners. It could be their wife.
Oh, got it.
Or their husband.
Right.
Or my children. Everybody's answer is different.
That's true.
And I feel like I just leave it open to how you get your joy.
Yeah. And then it's different, you know, there's different type of joy in different things, right? The kind of joy I extract from creating content is a different joy that I extract when I'm spending time with my daughters. You know,
cute, by the way.
Yeah, very cute. Look at the
door.
dad. Come on.
They was just like,
look at the
hey.
dad.
I said, hey.
Yeah, of course.
Oh my, not look at the dad.
Look at the dad.
Oh
Come on. The genes, the genes don't lie.
But I feel like the joy question is really whoever answers it.
Yeah. I think you can, you know, but my definition of joy would be the way you defined it. Is like everything I do, I genuinely enjoy because it feels purposeful.
And I can tell
the
way your face lit up earlier.
Yeah.
I want to ask you, now that you're doing all of these things, real estate, your whole life is in Atlanta, what does your life look?
The only thing I probably show it's the workouts. I definitely love working out. I hate having friends that are not fit. Yes.
That's interesting.
Yes. Because your body is your temple. If you don't take care of your body, I don't think I can trust you with anything.
Oh my gosh. I agree with that. I did a post a while back and I talk about how the number one thing that is most important to anyone, and it was quite controversial. People were like, oh, what is that?
Yeah.
Blah, blah.
You can't talk about it.
The number one thing that should be most important is your health. Your health is more important than your wife, than your husband, than your children.
Yeah.
And people don't want to hear that.
100%
But
it is.
it
is. It was 100% it is. I mean, even on a flight, what do they say? If the flight is going down, who do you say first?
You have to put your mask on first.
Exactly. So, I mean, if you don't save yourself, there's no way you're saving anybody else anyway. If you don't take care of your health and then you pass sooner, how did you help your kids? Right? So it's like, but I think people, we live in this weird era to where people want to be told what they want to hear, not what they should hear. And then people are very emotional too. Like most reactions about things are very emotional. When you create content, you start noticing that in the comments. Just read the 10 comments. It's always somebody that is copping out. It's like, oh no, but you don't understand. No, I do understand. Like, you know what I mean? Like, no, you don't understand. No, you don't know this, because they're trying to justify why. Like, if you don't have a mental disease or physical incapability or what, like what's your excuse? I don't understand it. Plus, we all know that you know what you eat, and then I see the people that are the most unhealthy physically are the ones that eat the most junk.
The correlation between the two.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? Like if you're working out from Monday to Saturday, maybe you can afford to eat junk sometimes. But if you never work out, but you always eating chips and McDonald's and whatever the case may be.
I don't even get into the food conversation.
You know, but anyway, yeah.
People will defend.
Dude, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
Somebody will cuss in these comments.
They will defend.
Yeah.
And it gets to the point where I'll be like, well, how much stock do you own in Frito-Lay?
Nothing.
Like, what are they doing to you over in Fritos? Like, what?
Nothing. But is you can relate that to any other topic you pick. You pick relationships, is the same. Oh, you don't understand why I don't care about people. You pick having kids, you don't understand. It's like people are so emotional about how they react with things, and sometimes it's just a cop out mechanism. You understand what I'm saying? I
have a question for you in that regard. Since you are 24/7 real estate content, all of this stuff, how does that impact your relationship? Because you're married.
Yeah, I would say I integrate.
Okay.
Let me say it. I don't believe in balance per se. When I say balance, meaning, okay, I do this from 9 to 5, and then after that is this, right? I integrate. So if, for example, if I'm going to go to an event, for example, right? Or I'm going out driving and finding ugly homes or whatever, I take my daughters with me. We spend time together while we're doing that, and then after I might take them somewhere. If my wife want to come with me at events, by all means, she can come with me at events. She understands exactly what I'm doing. We talk about now. Do we have family space? Yeah, but I don't believe in the whole idea of total balance. Meaning, because if I cannot integrate, I wouldn't even be able to have this studio at my home. I have to be able to integrate. My wife knows exactly what I do. There's no way to talk me out of my purpose. I was very open of who I am in the beginning. So there's no way of trying, now you can only
You
work.
weren't giving up your purpose, basically.
You cannot tell me, you can only work from 9 to 5. I would say I'm very traditional in that sense. I integrate. I don't. So sometimes, like, okay, you know what? I need to go to an event for a few days. Instead of saying, okay, I cannot go for 4 days because I have a family. Okay, why don't I just take my family with me?
Okay.
Right? I can enjoy the event and then we can go have quality time afterwards, whatever. So I integrate. I don't believe in balance as like complete.
What's like one tip you would give someone? Because I always hear people saying, I work too much. I can't have a personal life or a relationship. You've heard that before?
I've heard that before.
Right?
Yeah.
So what is the tip that you would say to somebody?
Well, I would say the number one thing is first, that's an excuse. To me, that's a cop-out mechanism to either one, you're afraid of relationships. When I say relationships, meaning like serious relationships, or two, you maybe haven't found the right person, right?
Oh, not the if he wanted to, he would hashtag.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's just
when you say you haven't found the right person, there's a hashtag.
Oh yeah,
I'm always living in memes. There's a hashtag, regardless of whatever you say, it's always if he wanted to, he would. So when you say, well, you just haven't found the right person.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. To me, that's all excuses. Like, it's not like, number one, there's never the right time for anything. It's like, okay, getting into entrepreneurship. Okay. Oh, if I don't have the time, I have a 9 to 5. I'm so busy. And then after the 9 to 5, I got to watch a little bit of Netflix because I want that life balance stuff. And then I have to go to sleep at 10. And then I wake up again, I go to work. It's like, okay, we all still have 24 hours though. Work will always be there. If you get into entrepreneurship, it's going to be work. Actually, even more work. So maybe now you're working from 9 to 5 because you're working at a corporate job or whatever. But when you go into business venture, you work in 12-hour days. You work in 11-hour days, 16-hour days. It's even worse, right? So there's never the right timing to do these things. Like get into. I mean, there is a mental right timing. If you're not ready now. If I'm not talking about whatever weird. I'm talking about like serious relationships. Okay, there is never the right time. It's like. So to me, to just say I don't have time is like. I don't know. I don't buy that. I don't. Typically, most people that I know that say that they literally say it as one, they don't want it, meaning like they're literally afraid of relationships.
Oh wow!
But instead of saying that, they're saying I don't have time, right? Or two, they don't even know what they want. So because they don't know who they are, they don't even know who would match them. So they're confused. So they say, no, I'm not ready for a relationship. It's just because in order for me to know who's compatible with me, obviously the first thing is I need to know who I am. And then I also have to be comfortable telling the other person that I'm going to date who I am. Most people want to just... So for example, if I like you, Liberty, as a guy, now I'm not a girl, so I'm not going to talk for the women out there. I'm talking for guys, right?
Okay.
If I like you, I'm going to try to tell you things that you want to hear instead of telling you the way it is. So, for example, I am Mamadou. I work 11-hour shifts. This is my purpose. But like I tell you, like I integrate. I don't believe in balance.
That's the real you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Most guys, because they like you, they're going to try to sugarcoat it.
Okay.
Okay.
I am getting dating tips right now live. I love it. You thought we was talking real estate?
Yeah,
real
because
estate at the heart.
Yeah, because
take some space, location,
right?
location. There we go.
Because it might be afraid that you might say no, or okay, that's not really. I don't like that. I want my man to come back home at 6.
So they're not going to tell you the truth.
Yeah, like just tell it to you the way it is, right?
Okay.
Because most people they'll be afraid that you might leave, but the issue is that's gonna come out later.
Well, they should just told you the truth.
But that's what I'm saying. But it's way easier to say than to do. Most people have a hard time being like telling straight up who they are, like just being honest about
transparency.
Transparency. Just because I like you and I'm afraid that you would not go on a date with me.
Okay.
I'm not gonna tell you. Obviously, I'm not talking about the first day I meet you, I'll start spilling out everything. That's not what I'm talking about.
Oh, I know.
But if you guys already, you know what I mean? It's like just tell it the way it is. If you're an entrepreneur, because there is women that don't want entrepreneurs.
This is true.
Yeah. So if you're not honest about it, or you say, oh yeah, but if I find the right person, maybe I'll work less. and then then she goes with that.
Oh my
They'll
God.
say that just to please the person, and then they get in together, and then after 18 months, the dopamine level now is down, and reality kicks in, and now the business is more demanding. So really, you didn't keep your promise. You told me now you're gonna get home every day at 5, but you're still getting home at 9. It's like, of course, you're an entrepreneur. That was never gonna happen in the first place.
Right.
So you shouldn't say that in the beginning, especially the first 18 months. We operate at this high dopamine level. There's actually a fantastic book here about it. Like, people should read this book.
I was really surprised that you mentioned the 18 months because I'm very familiar with that outline.
You know what I'm talking about,
Yes, I
right?
do know what you're talking about.
Yes, get this book, okay? The molecule of more. So don't trick yourself. The first 18 months, you don't love her as much as you think, okay?
He's absolutely right. Absolutely.
Yes. I mean, going back to the point, my advice would be straightforward, be honest,
And transparent.
transparent from the top.
Okay.
She takes it or leave it. And
agree
it
with
is,
that.
yeah, I don't.
Because I always relate relationship interaction to business interaction.
Yeah.
You wouldn't enter a deal. You would not. The
100%.
judge would be null and void.
Yeah, 100%.
They'd be like, no, they didn't. They misrepresented themselves.
yeah.
They signed under duress. Okay, this is out of here.
yeah.
However, in relationship, it seems okay to mislead the other party.
Yeah.
Be transparent
It
from
is.
the top.
Yeah, it is.
That's a good example, though.
Yeah.
The entrepreneur versus like the entrepreneur life. What you just described was the entrepreneurial life cycle of romantic relationship. That's exactly what I heard. So thank you for that.
Okay.
I'll listen to that too.
I love how you kind of but yeah, that's my thought process on that. It's as simple as that. Marriage can get a little bit more complicated.
Okay.
But I think from the man perspective,
Okay.
I can understand why most men nowadays are afraid of getting legally married. I can understand that.
This
because-
is why you like to debate in your spare time.
Oh, 100%.
Oh
yeah.
my gosh.
Yeah. So, but we don't want this video taken down. So you're going to have to watch some big podcasts about those kind of podcasts is very famous now anyway, like where people talk
I think
about
relationship podcasts in general.
is in general, yeah.
Our relationship conversations in general are, I think, running rampant right now because even though your life is centered around real estate, your entire life is centered around more than real estate.
Oh, 100%.
So I think that's why it's
100%. Yeah. So, yeah, from the man perspective, I can kind of see why it's scary now to do it, whether you live in Europe or you live here in the United States. For men, it's getting scary. So I can kind of see why somebody would say, you know what, even if I date, I don't want to get married.
Oh my gosh.
Because especially people that own businesses and all this fun stuff. But to be honest with you, if there was, which the conversation is now there online, okay, very controversial and whatnot. But if like men are genuinely scared of getting married nowadays in Europe or in the US for obvious reasons.
I feel like that's a whole part two of what these obvious reasons are.
Yeah.
Have to circle back.
Yeah.
Because the reasons aren't so obvious.
They're very obvious for men.
They're
Maybe
not so obvious to the government or scholars.
They're very obvious to the government.
So I think that
They're very, very, let me say it facing the camera. They're very obvious to the government.
I don't know.
The government who makes the laws is the number one problem. Exactly that. So yes, they're very obvious for the government.
So as we wrap up in this particular conversation, one, we talked about how you got to Atlanta, your story. And I don't know if people know your story of how you got to Atlanta and how you're able to create this real estate camp, how you're helping people, how you're getting on these calls, how you're doing all of this education and sourcing and really turning Atlanta into your home. Do you plan on staying here? Like, what's the kind of time frame you're thinking?
For now, yes. For the next, let's say for the next 3 to 5 years, probably, potentially, if they fix these roads, because it's getting crazy out here. The traffic in Atlanta is getting insane.
The traffic.
Yeah, the traffic is getting out of hand. I mean, I thought DC was bad, but Atlanta is getting worse. But no, I'm here, and if I ever leave Atlanta, Texas would probably be the place.
Oh no.
Yes.
No, don't say Houston.
Not Houston at all. But
I feel like everybody in Atlanta, there is an underground railroad
for real?
directly to Houston, and that's where they pop out.
I would not live in Houston. I didn't like. I mean, yeah, I didn't enjoy Houston at all. It's not my vibe. But Texas would be the place. Like, I don't know where exactly. But I would have to visit more. Mm-hmm. Now, remember, when I came to your event, it was my first time going to Houston anyway.
That's true.
So, like, it was a bunch of...
I invited you to Austin.
Right.
So, are you coming to Austin? I'm going to get you on
100%.
camera. Are you coming?
Yeah. She got me on a challenge to find a creative finance deal in her area because she said there's no way we can do it there, right? That's what you said?
Just quick 30 seconds on this. He said you can do a creative finance deal anywhere.
Yeah.
And I said, I bet you can't do one in Austin.
Why not?
And he said, I will take that challenge.
100%.
I will come to Austin. I said, what? I would love to see you pull that off.
Okay.
In Austin, Texas.
Why do you think it would work there?
I'm not going to give you the cheat
Austin?
code. I'm going to just see.
Man, people are doing creative finance deals all day, every day in Austin.
Okay.
All day, every day.
So when he comes out, we're going to make it a thing. We're going to make it a thing.
Yeah.
We're going to bring the camera crew.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna document the whole journey, guys. We're gonna be out there. So any of you homeowners out there getting bunch of calls from handsome Mamadou, you guys already know what it is. I got a challenge. We gotta get a house subject to our seller finance, probably 0% on that seller finance, just to make it a little bit more interesting, or a home that the interest rate does not exceed 4%.
There was no or in the challenge.
No, it's either or, right? We could do seller finance or subject to.
Okay. All right. We'll let you do that.
Right.
You guys follow along because I think that'd be a really cool challenge, and people can actually see you.
Yeah,
out
100%.
in the streets.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. This has been awesome. And tell everybody again, as we wrap up, where can they find you and learn more about you?
So, guys, real estate Diallo, D as in David, IALLO, Diallo again. Remember, guys, means bold. In case you're like, oh, that's too hard to pronounce. I know, but it's a fantastic name. And then for YouTube, you can type my name, Mamadou Diallo, but you may have to add the real estate. Because in West Africa is a very popular name, so you might see some random singers, and just add the real estate. You're gonna see me. All right, you cannot miss this face. Yeah. So everything else, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, whatever. I'm all the platforms. And if you speak French, just follow my French social media as well.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. And again, I'm Liberty Madison. I'm super, super excited to be here in Atlanta, Georgia. And you can find me everywhere. I'm everywhere you are. Doesn't matter the platform. I am Liberty Madison everywhere.
Stay bold. Be bold. Boom, boom, boom.